World of Warcraft versus Final Fantasy XIV, embracing difficult content, East versus West, dev, and more. Yeah, this is going to be a big topic. It's going to be a meaty one.
Yeah, we've got... yeah, this is one way to put it. From Too Lazy to Blink, we have a super saying, as a comparison, an ultimate is a chain of bosses. Imagine having a single fight that lasts 17 minutes,
we saw this
where
in
you
the
have
other
to do
video.
Mythic Maiden, and then immediately do Mythic Avatar, and finally kill Jaden. That, I am so tired even thinking about that, and I've never done Mythic of any of those fights.
This is nuts. I can actually, like, thinking about that, I felt my heart rate rise. Because there's nothing I love more in video games than being, not like, I don't mind like small tests that are very, very intense, but I love like whenever I'm finished with doing like anything in the game, and I'm just like, I need a jug of water and a nap after that. I'm exhausted. I love that. I love when you're just engaged for so long. Like I almost want to see how long the flow state can physically last.
Yeah.
In a human, I want to go. Can I? Because this will be maybe a fun anecdote if anyone knows Betwixt and Between, the Japanese artist who sadly committed suicide a couple of years ago. But I actually have a copy of his album sitting on my desk because I love it so much. It's called Nanosecond Eternity, and it's his 40-minute long hardcore like J-core album, and it's very like I want to say psychedelic. It's kind of almost a little bit trancey, a little bit intense, but I played Beat Hazard, which is the put your own music into a asteroid style shmup with a couple extra mechanics, and I played the entire album in Beat Hazard, and that was 40 minutes long on like a very hard difficulty. And I remember I was sweating like crazy. I finished it and I got up and I was like,
yeah.
yeah, and that was one of the most memorable gaming experiences I ever had, because I remember how it felt in those last 5 minutes. I knew the song was coming to an end. I hadn't been hit, and I was just sweating like crazy.
Okay, that you did that and didn't get hit for a whole fucking thing of that game is insane to me, because I played a tiny bit of it on TB's recommendation years and years and years ago. I guess it's that feeling like you've been in a 45-minute long StarCraft 2 bout that just has almost burnt your brain out. And yeah, that's a big thing.
It's the kind of thing where I feel like I should really actually just go get into some combat sports, because I feel like that feeling of just being, and this is weird. I'm not going to say anything about it as a spoiler, but there's a character in FF14 who's very much likes that feeling as well. And one of the lines they deliver whenever you meet them I don't think it's the first time, maybe the first time, they say something for the time between the seconds live, and then something. But it's the idea of like that just really resonated with me, is for the time between the seconds.
I don't remember who that is.
When a second becomes eternity.
Yeah.
Because you're just so hyper focused.
That sounds like
you're
Graha.
living in that very moment of time where everything is just you're just at one with the universe, doing what you're doing.
And it's games. I feel like games.
I wish I had better
at a high
memory.
level,
Yeah.
playing sports at a high level. It's like that's that unique sort of thing where you tap into that part of the human experience.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got Drew Malakath saying ultimates are also alternate canon / what if scenarios. The devs also refuse to release an ultimate they haven't beaten as well internally.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting. And the whole thing with ultimates.
Imagine we do not release something unless we've beaten it internally. Imagine that.
It made me realize there has been an ultimate in World of Warcraft before. For the anniversary event in the Caverns of Time.
Oh, don't you dare call it an ultimate.
I knew that would inflict pain.
Spit that word out of your mouth, you bastard.
Which, that's like the boss rush of, it was like the boss rush of the...
the Wrath. No, it wasn't the Wrath.
It was... well, there's a Wrath one and the TBC one, wasn't it? Why can I no longer remember that?
It was...
Those chains of bosses anyway.
Yeah.
But, it's actually a neat idea, because imagine if like Blizzard just said, hey, yeah, we're, I don't know, in this patch, here's a new raid feature called Ultimate the Burning Crusade. Yeah. We are going to tie these things together. We've also tuned them up and sort of redesigned them a little bit. Yeah. There you go. Chromie's involved, so it's cool and you like it. People would be like, let's go. People will be in.
Absolutely.
People will be so in. So that's interesting. Oh man, yeah. Okay. We got a super from Corbin saying, bear in mind FF14 puts out less raid content than WoW each tier. Savage normally only 4 bosses every 6 months. Yeah, that's fairly big. And do you know what's funny to me? Because I don't want to play FF as a mono game. It's like something I'll dip in and out of. I actually do believe over years now. I'm actually okay with that because I'm just like, yeah, I'll go and do the new thing. Then I'll be done. I'll come back whenever they have a new thing for me. Yeah. And it's like, it's that they seem to be very comfortable for their game to be that. Yep. That is why I'm okay to engage with it. Whereas in WoW, it's like they're only giving us 2 months of content, but they're trying to squeeze it out to like 6 through all of these progression systems that feel really, just injected in.
Yeah, but since Shadowlands has been out, we've gotten... Was Eden fully released before Shadowlands came out? I don't remember. When was the last Eden? Last Eden was like 5.3, right? I think 5.3 was the last Eden. 5.3 release date. August. Wow, that was a while ago. August 11th. It was 5.4? 5.4 was when they released the Final Eden tier? Okay, now I'm curious. Final Eden tier. Final Eden tier. Eden's Gate, Sepulcher. God damn it. Guess an easier way. It was 5.4? Okay. Then let me see 5.4 release date. .4 released in December 8th. So, since the release of Shadowlands, they've released 1 raid tier and like 2 new raids. 1 raid tier. No, wait. 1 raid tier. The Lubrum Regini. Dalriada. And I think 2 near raids. Right? Am I wrong there? 1 near raid? Okay, I got that part wrong. Holy crap. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that really translates into dunking on WoW. Jesus. Oh yeah, I'm not even going to bring up the trials. The trials are just freebies at this point.
And don't feel natural. Mm-hmm. So it's like the admission that we can only do so much. It's like, okay, admit that, only do that much and do it well, and then people will be happy, versus the bits where it kind of feels like WoW's nickel and diming you on an extra week.
Exactly. That's exactly the point. Because like, the reason why Final Fantasy XIV does it better, and this is like, I'm not even leaving this up for opinion, this is just straight up better, is because they give you achievable goals and you can be done with it. Like, to me, that's a good thing. Being able to be done with something in a video game, that's a good thing. That means that I get to move on and try on something new for a while, and then maybe if I want to come back, I can come back and play some more. It's good to be done with something. Like, people nowadays just expect that continuous cycle of more. I want to invest my whole life into this one thing. And I'm just like, no. I want to go play something else. Like, I want to go play fucking Ratchet and Clank. I want to go play episode Yuffie, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Integrate, Intermission, whatever the crap you want to call it. You know? You mean managing expectations? Whoever thought that was a good idea? Yeah, exactly. Beam the hamster wheel into my eyes. Yeah, that's what Blizzard does. Like, here's the mall. Go have fun at the mall. Here's this grind and friggin' Torghast. Go on. It's like, Jesus. Yeah, Zethus, it's like I think that's fine. And it's like if someone wants to progress more and actually level up more classes, they can do that too. And they can go, experience the content with a different set of classes, and they can go do some of the old content because it's not made completely and utterly obsolete, and you can still get rewards from it, and you can still go get glamour out of it, and you can still go grind mounts for it. Imagine suffering from a lockout to grind old mounts. Huh? Imagine that. Imagine that if you wanted to go grind the bird mounts from Heaven's Word, you can only do each raid once per week. That's gotta suck.
With just some, what we talked about earlier in the show.
Actually, that's an interesting thing that Luke and Shassel says in chat. WoW future patch info feels like Blizzard trying to sell us on spending more time in game. FF14 future patch videos feel like they're asking for our approval. And that reminds me of something very particular from a video on the news channel quite a while ago.
Oh yeah?
It was the Xbox one. Where, remember how Xbox tried to make their mark in Japan?
Oh yeah.
Bill Gates went to Tokyo Game Show and gave a presentation, a pitch. He basically tried to sell them on this big black box that played games really nice. And they were like, "That's not how business is done here. We were expecting you to come up and say your philosophy on like how you actually work as a business, how you handle all this stuff, what you're going to bring to the market. But instead, you're an American going, buy our product. It's big. It's class. It plays PC games, sort of. You don't even know what those are, Japan, at this point in time. Because the last PC games you played were on the PC 98. So it's just that case of, it feels like that where WoW is that American kind of, please buy it. This is going to be class. This is going to make, this is going to make you better in bed, blah, 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 blah. And then you go
Make
to
you
Japan,
better
like,
in bed.
Is this enough yet?
Yeah, there is definitely a vibe of we are awesome. Our game is epic, and it's like almost taken for granted sometimes. Yeah. I guess maybe Blizzard don't seem humble.
Yeah.
Blizzard devs don't seem humble, and I think actually that's why Morgan Day came off better in that follow-up interview with Salute, because there was actually bits where he was caught off guard and he didn't try to blag his way through it. The dude was just like, "Oh yeah, that is interesting to think about that."
Yeah.
It's like it actually felt like a.
Yep.
It felt humble. And I think that's people really gravitate towards that. Whereas whenever a criticism is met with an explanation that is really not that satisfying because it's so philosophical, it basically doesn't matter because it's not in line with how it actually feels, then that just does not feel humble.
Yeah. It's
That's
not
that.
It's not necessarily to say one's better than the other, because obviously I think there's a lot of problems with general parts of all cultures.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of Japanese fetishism that goes on, especially among weebs, that is definitely a little bit unwarranted. It's kind of a grass is greener thing. But I think in this case, people absolutely resonate with it in a big way. Well, like, yeah. All right, well, thank you for trying. As opposed to, we know that you've just polished that turd. Why are you trying to tell us it's not a turd? Like, that's kind of the feel.
Whenever you have WoW developers really seem like they are on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
Very much in their ivory tower. A few of them have done that. And I'm not doing anything to draw attention to people specifically, but there are
in their ivory tower, you say?
A few WoW devs who feel extremely ivory towers, almost sneering at the players.
Yeah. No.
You can. I mean, there's one or two times that's actually been overt. There's lots of times where it feels in between the lines. Implied.
Yeah, the overt ones really make me like, they almost anger me in a sense.
Oh, there was a few tweets that legit pissed me off recently because it's like you don't get to do that tweet while you ship the systems that you boys are shipping.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was like.
Yeah, it's like, how about you tweet that?
You see, this just highlights that Blizzard disconnect that I've been talking about, how Blizzard is completely disconnected from their player base. They're just like on a whole nother world. Like, it seems that a lot of people at Blizzard, they think they're the shit. They're like, oh man, we're the fucking best. We're so good, man. I work at motherfucking Blizzard. It was like, yeah, dude, that would have been a thing like maybe 5 years ago. You could proudly say, I work at Blizzard. Nowadays, saying I work at Blizzard is about the equivalent of saying, I work at Electronic Arts. It has the same energy. Those two sentences have the same energy. I work at Blizzard. I work at Electronic Arts. And here's another company that has joined that as well. I mean, they've been joining it for a while now. I work at Ubisoft. It's like these all have the same I'm going to steal money from your wallet energy nowadays. That's what these companies are. It's just like that fucking give me money energy. The greedy fucks, dude.
Whenever your game isn't significantly worse than Final Fantasy 14 in almost all facets. Thank you.
Big statement.
Yep.
big statement.
I'll fucking stand by it. Like, I'll stand by it. Absolutely. But
we just want WoW to be.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a bit of me like, listen, I do kind of just want. I want WoW on FF. Like, I want WoW to be better than FF.
Yeah.
So that FF next time it is better than WoW.
Yeah.
So that the next time after that, WoW is better than FF.
Yeah.
Because they're all just fighting with each other to be the damn best.
That's
And
the
it feels
best
like
thing you
FF
could
is
expect.
really taking that fight on and doing a great job. And Blizzard are just like
They're just taking
missing
it.
a bunch.
Yep.
They're just taking it. Blizzard's just like taking it. They're just taking the abuse. Like Yoshi P's coming up to Blizzard like this, dude. Like this. Like, you like that? Yeah! Woo!
So yeah, it's an interesting thing. Now there is an FF criticism here in a super from Mirasi, who says, as a long-time FF player since ARR, I will not say it's flawless. One quality of WoW I love and wish FF had was utilization of CCs, e.g. Frostmage.
Yep. So
To which I will say, yes, whenever WoW, like, I mean, some of my greater memories in WoW are like, Frost or freezing?
Blizzard screams harder.
Freezing Trap and Chimerish. Was it Chimerish thing? No. Wyvern's thing?
Wyvern's thing.
Oh, yeah,
Wyvern's
the
thing.
talented
Sleep.
yeah, like doing a lot of that intricate CCing in Cataheroics.
That works, yeah.
Yeah, really fun.
Yeah, so FF doesn't really have anything even close to that as far as I've experienced so far. I think it's a lot more pure mechanically.
Interesting.
I think, and this is something I kind of want to talk about in depth, that I won't go too far into it now, but I did see people talk about how raid fights are so much more mechanically dense in FF.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, I think, was it someone in our chat from last week said it's like playing DDR? It's like playing DDR to avoid mechanics while also like playing Guitar Hero to play your class.
Yeah, that was it.
That's what it feels like to me. And as someone who likes that real, like, I am consistently in the flow, like making kind of tactical decisions isn't what I really like about video games. I enjoy it, okay, but it's like the closer you get to, almost like what I was saying about for the time between the seconds, the closer you get to that literal, every button matters, every bit of movement matters. It's the purest mechanics of just movement. That's the stuff I like more than anything else. And that's why FF's mechanics feel so amazing to me.
Right, so
because
to
I'm constantly
you,
moving.
that very, you can almost
Don't
say
bring up the
nerdy
dance.
mechanics, where it's
Don't
based
bring
on,
up the dance
this
argument
buff
again. I swear to
and this thing
God.
and that thing, and it's like not very visual. It's all very sort of logical.
Yeah.
That's like less your speed. And certainly for me, it's like, I mean, even think of Goroth. That's just the fight where it's like, yeah, big spikes, big thing in the room, react.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Or like the for me, like the cool bits of Denathrius, and it was just Ramonia, and then just and you've got to do your dance.
That's
cool.
That's the stuff that had my heart absolutely pumping.
Yeah.
Because that's where I felt those things of just, this is every single second matters. Every single thing I do, every second here matters massively.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, someone expanded on the quote, and it was a quote from the same person, from the same character. You live for those moments. You live for these moments, don't you? When all hangs in the balance, when the difference between life and death is but a single stroke. That's the stuff that I just really, I love that mechanically. So I love Emerald Weapon, where there's lasers everywhere. Like, there's big AoE hitboxes spinning round, and you're just like, go, 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 while you're also keeping up the class mechanics. And because CC is not a big part of it, because interrupting is not a huge part of it, like, classes just have deeper mechanics in FF, because it's all part of this system of just, we're going to throw so much at your head that you're going to be overwhelmed, but react, learn the dance, be in the right place at the right time, step in time. You've got half a second to move, be where you need to be exactly when you need to be, instead of the more kind of organizational stuff where WoW, despite having a faster combat system, feels so much slower to me.
Interesting.
And it's like every single time I'm on,
Because it
every
is.
single like fight that's new to me, I read the guides and I'm still overwhelmed.
I guess is that just purely because, sure, the GCD is what the GCD is, blah, 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 but you still have a bunch of things to think about and stages, like even those that the Samurai has got like 3 kind of rotations within its rotation or whatever.
It's got 3 combo finishers it needs to use its like EI jutsu.
E aí, jutsu.
Vender a roupa que já não usas. É só tirar foto, fazer upload, já está.
Specific move, while also keeping up a dot and also managing positionals and also managing cooldowns on other abilities and another gauge full of resources that they have to spend on specific abilities. So it's that kind of case where I just...
It actually reminds me of Classic. All of what you're saying reminds me of us in the Harpy Forest in Classic, actually. Because like even though the gameplay is slower, it's feeling that every button matters.
Yeah.
And then you've got to do that while you are having a big positional based dance.
Yeah.
So it's I think that thing where if you've got a lot of complexity in your solo class play,
Yep.
but you're there as a team, you've got to do your dance as a team. Purely just having the dance and keeping up your own thing. I guess that comes together well for what you like in a raid. Now, from what I understand, for like say what Preach likes, because he is a man who notably does not like dance fights.
Yep.
So what I'd be
This argument infuriates me, dude. Dance fights. Everything is a dance fight. Everything is a dance fight. The only thing that changes is the complexity of the dance fight. Some dance fights are more complex. Other dance fights are less complex. And what it seems to me is whenever this dance fight comes up, whenever this dance fight argument comes up, people are talking about less mechanically complex dance fights. But they're still dance fights. Like everything in a raid is always a dance. You figure out what the mechanics are and you do the dance. Like sometimes the dance could be reacting to a mechanic. Other times the dance could just be avoiding a mechanic. There's always a dance. While fights are far less dancey, to be honest, I disagree. I completely disagree. You can say while fights are simpler, and that I will accept. Yes, while fights are simpler. Even Dark Souls is a dance. Everything is a dance. Fighting a monster in Monster Hunter is a dance. Everything is a dance. Like, what do you mean wrong? Is this stream a dance? No. This stream is a reaction. This is the easiest type of content that you can make in this platform. This is a reaction Andy stream. People somehow appear to like that, which I think is fine. I'd say WoW fights don't have such a nice flow as Final Fantasy XIV. That's because they don't. But I'm really curious about this dance argument because I wholeheartedly disagree with this thing. Final Fantasy raids are a dance. World of Warcraft raids are not a dance. Yes, they are. I mean, like take for instance, the last fight in normal, because I think I only did normal in Castle Nathria, right? The last fight of Castle Nathria, which is what he was just talking about. First dance. You have a group that takes the debuff first. You have a group that takes the debuff second or clears the debuff. I forget what it is. But basically, they need to be hit by a cleaving AoE. So, you have your tanks tanking. That's the beginning of the dance. The tank is tanking. Big cleave AoE comes in. Group 1 moves in, gets hit by the cleaving AoE, and then Group 1 moves out. Tank 1 moves out. Tank 2 comes in. That's a dance. You're going to tell me that's reacting? It's a dance. It's a literal dance. And it's like, and after a while, 1/3 of the room gets filled with blood. What is the dance? Everybody move away from the blood. Boom. And there you go. And then after a while, big thing happens, big AoE in the screen and all that stuff. And then people have to run away and then run back into the thing. I don't remember the exact details. It's been a long time since I did that fight. But then, boom, everybody falls down to the ground. What is the dance now? I don't remember what the DPS had to do because I was always the tank, so don't care. But people were just like running around killing ads and stuff in the bottom. What is everybody else doing? Okay, we're still tank swapping the main boss. We're dodging the sword that goes whoosh, 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 whoosh. It's just like, that's a dance. But it's fine. You guys are like, okay, so Rurikhan, that's a dance. Not all of the fights are a dance. Okay, let's talk about one of the fights that's considered to be a straight up tank and spank, which is the fight with that boss that screams and there's waves that makes everybody bleed. That's a dance. It's a straight up dance. You tank the monster does this thing, chains people together. People have to run away together to dodge the fucking things that are roaming around the screen. That's a dance. You're dancing around the mechanics that are happening in the fight. The Huntsman, that's a dance. There's specific percentage HP of the HP of the boss that certain mechanics happen. And you have to tank swap, and you have to tank adds a certain way, and you have to kill mobs a certain way. That's a dance. What do you mean completely wrong? How is it completely wrong? Everything that I just said can be considered a dance. That's the thing that always confuses me whenever this dance argument comes up. Like somehow these raids are so completely different. The mechanics that they do are so completely different that they should not be considered a dance. It is exactly a dance. It's a different tune, if anything. People in chat are trying to say because you have to move to certain areas of the battlefield for mechanics, therefore Final Fantasy XIV is a dance. You have to do the same thing in World of Warcraft. In every single boss fight that I just talked about, you have to move to specific areas. It's literally the same thing. Like, I'm really interested in hearing these counter arguments because I've had this discussion with Q and he also doesn't agree with me. But it doesn't make any sense to me. How can one thing be a dance and the other thing is not? Like, every single raid fight is a dance. Every single raid fight is a dance. Some dances are simpler, some dances are more complex. Some dances require to memorize more stuff, some dances require to memorize less stuff. But every single fight is a dance. I would just like to know exactly why are World of Warcraft raids not a dance? Like a very specific definition. This is why this is a dance and this is not a dance. DBM tells you the choreography exactly. Multi-dotting, debuff dispelling, and healing planning according to CC and interrupting. Those don't feel like dances are way more present in Mythic than Savage. CC and interrupting doesn't feel like a dance? What do you mean? You have to interrupt in certain Final Fantasy fights as well? You have to CC... I mean, you don't have to CC most of the time, just kill stuff. But, I mean, CCing is just another step of a dance. It's like you say, oh, CC is not a dance. Okay, in that case, I can say, okay, a stack marker is not a dance. It's the same thing. World of Warcraft usually doesn't have that many stack markers. There you go. Final Fantasy XIV has more stack markers. Wouldn't the killing be a form of CC? No. Doing mechanics in any fight is a dance. Exactly. You have to do mechanics. Mechanics. If you're doing mechanics in a raid, it's a dance. I just really don't understand this distinction that people keep trying to make. And I have some specific examples here. Like Fenrir says multi-dotting. You do that in Final Fantasy XIV. I put my dot up. Summoners probably have like 2 or 3 dots if I can remember. Like I don't understand what you mean by multi-dotting. You mean because you have ads? There's ads in some of Final Fantasy fights as well. Some of their stuff. Debuff dispelling. You have to debuff dispel in Final Fantasy XIV as well. There's debuffs. Specifically, if you get like paralysis during a boss fight, like you're screwed. You need to dispel that. If you get like poison sometimes, you also got to dispel that. So there's debuff dispelling as well. Healing planning. There's healing planning as well. Arguably, maybe even more than in World of Warcraft, because in Final Fantasy XIV, the healers have to deal damage, so they have to plan their heals accordingly. CC and interrupting. Okay, I don't think there's that. I don't know how much interrupting there actually is in a lot of the raids because I only do normals. But I'm pretty sure that in Savage, there's going to be a decent amount of interrupting. As for CC, there isn't really that much CC, but there is off-tanking where the tank has to go and pick up stuff. So I guess CC could be your argument, but to make up for the fact that there isn't CC, there's a whole lot of other mechanics that 14 has that WoW doesn't have. It's like, I don't understand. Doesn't make that much of a difference. Yeah, exactly. Only permanent CC. During Blackwing Lair and World of Warcraft, tanks literally call the taunt on stack mechanics the aggro dance. Started playing Final Fantasy XIV so far, 23/17, really enjoying it. I'm glad you enjoy it. Let's get this straight. WoW and Final Fantasy XIV fights are simple. Depends on the difficulty. I wouldn't consider like some of the fights in 14 or even some of the fights in WoW simple. They're all just dances to a different tune. Exactly. Yeah, it's like I just don't understand this concept, and it really bothers me that people keep saying that somehow Final Fantasy XIV fights are a dance, like World of Warcraft raids are not a dance. It's the same thing. It's not that different. I mean, hell, you even have what was it? Castle Pinaplia? Like, listen, you even had this thing to teach you how to do the dance of the different fights in Castle Nathria. This is to teach you how to do the dance. Look, here they tell you what you have to do. Normal mode mechanics, there's heroic mechanics. Easy mode, greatly reduces all damage taken, show hints that explain boss mechanics. So basically you go in here and they explain you what the mechanics are for the dance. And this is how you would actually practice for the World of Warcraft thing. How do you fire? I forget. Shooting any letter key? Okay. See, hide behind the pillar. There's your dance right there. This is an actual World of Warcraft boss. Okay? Try not to damage your teammates. Okay, I guess I move away. See, look, the dance. Move away from your party group. How is this not a dance? Please explain. Like, please explain to me how this is not a dance. Literally, look, hide behind the pillar. Boom. And this is explaining a World of Warcraft boss. Try not to damage your teammates. Phase 2, boss can't be damaged. Hide behind a pillar. See, this is another dancing phase where you're just like hiding out of line of sight from the boss. Because if you get into line of sight of the boss or whatever, you can actually get hit. Oh snap. Don't get hit by these. Ooh! Ooh, that was bad. That would have actually also dropped like puddles of blood. Hide behind the pillar, phase 1. And back to this. Right? No? Can I shoot it again? I guess I can. Yeah. See? Look. Try not to damage your teammates. Put a puddle there. Oh, and I got hit too. I should have hid before behind the thing. This is totally a dance. I mean, just think about it. How is something like that not a dance?
Really interested in actually is it that he does not like dance fights, or that he doesn't like dance fights in the context of WoW mechanics? So I'd be very interested if Mike ever makes his way into doing a Savage raid.
Yeah.
You know, just get him through Savage Eden and just see what does he think. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard for somebody to just let Mike log into their account, explain the mechanics, and send him in.
Yeah.
I wonder. I don't know. TOS, etc. Account sharing.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I wonder. I do wonder. So, man, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting damn stuff, to be sure.
Yeah, I really want to. I probably will do some Savages this weekend if I can get if I can find a learning party. I absolutely will go to do it because I desperately want to feel what that's like. It's just I want that adrenaline.
Yeah,
and that's what it is to me. That's what World of Warcraft so rarely provides. So much of it's, especially when the class mechanics are honestly boring. Not to say I can do them all on extremely high level, or that I am a remarkably high DPS, but unless I'm playing Shadow Priest or Affliction Warlock, or when there's a load of different amounts of targets popping up here and there, I'm mostly just like I've got a priority list of 6 buttons. This is nothing to me. I've played, Not even like I'm particularly good at like games in general. It's just I'm used to playing action games. Give me something that actually has my blood rush from moment to moment. Otherwise you're boring me.
Yeah, knowing the games that you play and how fast paced they are,
Yeah.
spooky. Debbie Wells is super saying, did you see Preach's video yesterday where he watched an FF raid and tried to figure out the mechanics? I did skim through it, yeah.
It was Titania Extreme, I think.
Yeah, and it was really funny because he basically could not quite believe that Lalafell existed.
Oh yeah, I mean gnomes are in WoW. I mean, what's wrong with people's brains?
Because gnomes look like strange little fantasy creatures, Lalafell kinda do look like children, and it feels uncomfortable.
They're potato toddlers. But as soon as you speak to one, you're like, well, you're the hardest cunt in this room. Like,
yeah, but I mean, you have a weeb watching anime, and then somebody who does not watch anime looks at some of the camera angles, and they'll be like, "Whoa,
well, this is the one thing.
that camera just went between the boobs."
So I actually have this.
Referencing High School of the Dead, I think.
Yes, yeah, that was the
That's the famous egregious shot.
The sniper shot.
Yeah, the bullet goes
yeah,
between the boobs.
that
Yeah,
was nuts.
Imagine having that like boob control.
That'd be nuts. Like,
Just boobs avoiding armor.
muscles there must be wild.
Yeah.
But like, Lalafells definitely like have that look to them, but they never really act like that. And also, if anyone's getting weird ideas, that's on them. That's on them.
Yeah.
The game doesn't do any of that. The game,
I know the game. It's just like to some people, it's like weird and uncomfortable, I guess.
yeah.
Which I can understand because if you're very used to Japanese games, generally the likes of the Lalafell,
Yeah.
and I believe there is one in what's the combat-y MMO, the action combat-y MMO,
Terra.
Terra.
Oh, the Ellen.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, they're no.
I hear the Ellen are like way worse.
So
Yeah, I also don't understand this reaction to Lalafells like they're somehow super sexualized or something. It is extremely weird. It is very, 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 very weird. Because they just look like children. Like, that's it. I don't understand what's this big thing about Lalafells. I played a Lalafell for a while. I thought it was funny because I thought they're the closest thing you can have to a dwarf in Final Fantasy XIV, so I played a Lalafell for a while. Yeah, exactly. They look like potatoes. They're not even sexual in any way. Ralban and Nanamo want a word. Yeah, you know Ralban did Nanamo. Yep. Actually, he didn't. Canonically, he didn't. But hey, who knows? You could make an argument for Makote to be sexualized. What you trying to say about Y'shtola? What are you trying to say about Y'shtola, huh? Huh? What the hell? Where did Pippin come from? Pippin was adopted. I mean, I don't know if you were actually asking, but Pippin was adopted.
if anyone puts Ellen and Lalafell in the same breath, they have a problem.
So is Lalafell like a bit different, but its own thing in the game universe, and it's all fine? And is Ellen just like, oh, you're a nonce?
Ellen are definitely much closer to the,
Is it Lolly they call it? Is Lolly the like sort of
Yeah.
baiting the children sort of characters?
Yeah, so that
Gotcha.
like Ellen are definitely like, yeah, that's a bit uncomfortable. Why are their hips like that?
Ellen? What the hell is an Ellen? What are they talking about?
Oh, dear.
Where's the camera angle there? Why is that?
Oh dear.
Why are those clothes on them?
Oh dear.
But then you go to Lalafell, you're like, they're literally just waddling potatoes. Like,
Ellen and Tara? Okay, what is this? Tara Ellen. Okay. Okay, dude. Okay. See? Lalafells are not portrayed like this. Okay? Lalafells are most definitely never portrayed like this. Don't even. Yeah, look at this. Damn, nearly naked. See, this, I can see where people would have a problem with this. This is very much sexualized. Very much sexualized. Lalafells, like seriously, look at this. Does this look... Oh, this doesn't look like anything because it's got no resolution. Does this look sexualized at all? Covered at all times. Now, of course, there were players that basically introduced nude mods to Lalafels, which, you know, kind of sucked for Yoshi P when he had to come publicly and say, guys, please don't do that. That was not a good moment. But that's on the players that did that shit.
If you're looking down going, gosh, those pedos are at it again, it's like, no. You need your brain sorted out.
There's someone here saying the only Lalafels that act cute are the player Lalafels.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Which, yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
Mikote are uncomfortable to you. Oh, we've got friggin' Gosu in here. Not okay with cat girls. I'll fight you, sir.
Yeah.
Not okay with cat girls?
Man. Yeah, that's basically what I was trying to say. Yuki Onna says Ellen are designed with wide like hips and an adult shape while still having like really childish facial features, whereas Lalafels are just blob.
Yeah.
You know, you've just you've just grabbed a handful of mochi and bounced it off the floor, and there you go. You've got Lalafell.
Oh, there we go. Yoshi P plays a Lalafell. Hey.
Of course he does. Why wouldn't he?